the right people come together at the right moment, when they care almost as much about winning as they do about each other, they can become the best of the best.
Welcome to the best soccer show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go. It's the best soccer show. Jason Davis, live from Puerto Rico. Jared DuBois, somewhere in California. We are live on a Thursday night talking American soccer with you, our besties. Mr. DuBois.
Whoa. I just realized what you're wearing.
Yeah, I know. I didn't mean to counter-program.
We're doing counter-programming here?
I didn't mean to counter-program.
We each got half of El Tráfico on our bodies?
We do, but I will tell you what happened. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm in Puerto Rico. Okay, hold on. I'm in Puerto Rico, right? Been here since Monday. First of all, thank you to JetBlue Airways for losing my bag for a day and a half.
I should have lost that shirt.
With one pair of boxers. And I know you don't wear them, Jared, but they're very important to me. I don't like to recycle unless I have to.
With the sweating going on out there, wouldn't you like to have one less article of clothing on?
No, because I need a barrier between the boys and the rest of what I'm wearing. Nick is going to back me up on that. You need a barrier between the boys and the main action of covering your lower half of your body.
I better breathe without it.
JetBlue loses my clothes, loses my bag. They eventually get it back to me, but still very annoying. So we're in Puerto Rico. It's very hot, as you can probably tell by my face. I don't know. I've already picked up some sun. I'm a red person in general. It's kind of my color. And I was getting ready for the show, and I was like, oh, I got the Yanks Are Coming shirt from our boy Sam Stokes. I can't remember the name of his company. Somebody will
Yank Report
in the chat. No, Yank Report is his show, but he has a t-shirt. A t-shirt company he does.
Yanking it?
It's not called yanking it. That's inappropriate. If Nick has the Jared drop, this is where he would put it right now because I don't have it in Puerto Rico. But I put on my red Yanks Are Coming shirt and then realized it makes me look more red than I already am, and I prefer not to look. I'm pretty red. You can see it, and probably the border of this video isn't helping me too much. So I threw on a black shirt. I didn't.
Yeah, but okay. Here's the thing. Here's what I don't like.
What don't you like?
You packed for a trip.
Yes.
And you counted an LAFC shirt as one of your top best things to wear.
No. You will like this. I threw an LAFC shirt in as complete casual, doing nothing, not leaving the house. Maybe I'll work out in it. That's what I brought it for. Now, what I was thinking just before I came on the air was I really wish I hadn't worked out in my Suns Out, Ballot Guns Out shirt yesterday because I absolutely would have rocked that here.
I believe Nick can put the picture of that up on the screen while we're talking about it.
Probably could find that, yeah. This is, by the way, extra Suberling bucks or whatever we call them to Nick Suberling for doing extra work while I'm in Puerto Rico because he does hook it up. He does give us a little extra when we're here. All right, Jared. Besides your lovely throwback LA Galaxy jersey, what's on your mind today?
I mean, the fact that there's only one star on this, I need about 4 more on it. But
that's how old that is. That's not a throwback. That's a legit.
That's vintage.
That's vintage. LA Galaxy shirt.
I think this is 2003.
Is that? Hold on. Is that the last star that happened before the logo change? It might have been.
Yeah.
Might have been.
I'm trying to think.
2007?
No. 2003, 2005, I think, are the first two.
Oh,
and then they got 3 once Beckham got there.
Okay.
So I believe those are the 2 years because first year was the the first year was the Carlos Ruiz goal in Dallas, and the second one was the Herc Landon Donovan season.
Right.
Herc's breakout year.
Right.
So this is the one I think that they wore with the Herc breakout year. But on my mind. This week, I'm going to pose you a question, okay? I'm going to pose you a question because part of this actually happened in real time. But if there's 3 things on TV, tell me which of these three things you're most likely to watch.
Okay, I'm listening.
Chelsea versus Wrexham, ESPN.
Okay.
Plus.
Uh-huh.
MLS All-Star Game, which beautifully was counter-programmed right against it somehow. Or the All-Star Skills Challenge, which happened the day before. Which of those 3 things interests you most in watching?
Well, I have the benefit of knowing the result of the All-Star game.
No, just in general, which one?
No, I realize that. I think even before that, just trying to squeeze out any bias, I would I didn't know, and I'm here in Puerto Rico. My rhythms have changed, so I wasn't quite aware. I think the Wrexham Chelsea thing might have been number one on that list, and I hate to say it. I'm being honest with myself.
For what you would choose to tune in on. Oh, look at his phone. Oh, he lost his camera. Did we lose his audio as well?
Did I just lose everybody?
No, we got your audio. We lost your camera though.
Yeah, you lost my camera. Look, there it is. Look at that. Live pictures from
there was a real
camera.
quick crotch shot there.
I wasn't trying to do that. All right, you got to cover for me, Jared. This is what you've
like
had.
Jason's coming to us from the moon.
Be a professional now, Jared. Come on.
Yeah,
show me your broadcasting chops.
Well, if you'd shut up for a second, I would. Jeez, you had to need to fill. But here's my thing. Out of those, for me, I honestly, the All-Star skills competition is by far the most entertaining thing that happened this week. It's
I knew you were going to say that, by the way. That's why I chose what I chose, because I had a feeling that's
I have
the
no
direction
interest in watching these weird exhibition matches. I can't believe they packed 50-some thousand people in to watch Chelsea versus Wrexham. And,
what was the breakdown of that? Before you go on, what was the was
according
it like
to the people in the stands, they said about 50-50.
50-50?
That's what I heard people saying.
50%.
No, it's
how
in
many
there
people?
with 50,000 people, I think.
25,000 people showed up as Wrexham fans.
Let's be honest.
Jesus.
50% of them showed up with a different team's jersey on that wasn't playing in the game because that's what Americans do.
That's the
Arsenal's
rule
in town. I'm going to wear my Tottenham shirt because I also am not from London, but I'm going to act like I am.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well let's not.
But here's the thing: the All-Star skills competition is
yeah.
It is actually the most. It is a great American spectacle. It's a great American spectacle.
Okay, you mean the actual MLS skills challenge or any All-Star game extra thing?
I mean, right now I'm talking about MLS, but I think in general that's the thing that's always really fun at all of them. I think almost in every scenario, isn't the skills challenge better than every All-Star game? NBA skills challenge, 3-point shooting, dunk contest, like the passing challenge. Would you rather watch that or watch a bunch of dudes play no defense for
the
quarters?
The MLS skills challenge was a thing, went away, came back in a new format, right?
Yeah.
So 2019, was that the first year we did this with
I
Orlando
don't remember
hosting?
years, but yeah, they did bring it back, and then obviously last 2 seasons now, Goalies Wars has been back as well. And this year they did it with MLS Next Pro goalies.
Yeah, they didn't do it with the legit guys. Like Aaron Ramsdale wasn't out there tossing the ball around.
Aaron Ramsdale wanted to be in it. You could tell. They kept that, and that's what I'm saying. Like that's why there's such a unique novelty, a unique natural novelty to something that's very American thing to do a skills challenge like this. And you could tell that even the Arsenal guys were getting into it as it went along. I think that is infinitely more entertaining to me than the actual All-Star game.
No, I agree with you on that.
Exhibition.
I agree with you on that. I am not a fan of the dressed up exhibition. I've said, and look, I said this on the radio show, which I think you know about. I'm still doing that live from Puerto Rico, believe it or not. It is
satellite. They're overhead all the time.
That's true. I don't know. I mean, we were talking about this 10 years ago, Jared, when MLS was losing to Manchester United back-to-back years by 5 goals. We were talking, it's a bad look for MLS. They really should get rid of this game against a visiting club, especially a club like Manchester United, because it just makes the league look terrible, Jared. I mean, I'm over that whole conversation. I don't think what happened last night has anything to do with the quality of Major League Soccer. But you can't tell that to somebody who doesn't like MLS or is a Premier League fan first, because it's just going to reinforce their bias. So why do it? What the hell? I mean, again, if they want to, I'm over wasting my time arguing it shouldn't happen. Fine, do it. I get it. It's a fun thing.
I'm not interested in arguing whether or not it happens or not. I just wish they would understand that there's one of them is, I think most people find it more entertaining than watching the actual game. So I don't know. I think, honestly, I think it should go back to the East versus West. I don't think that's a format that
you've got 112 teams, so you've got plenty of players, right? Next year, we're going to have 30, when is San Diego starting? We're going to have 30 teams in this league. You have 15 teams worth of players in each conference to pick from. Pick 2 teams. And you know what? If you still want to do the visiting team thing, figure out a different time of year to do it. I don't know. Make it a best 11 game or something instead of the All-Star game, or do a best 11 East versus West and then also do an All-Star game.
Or give me a match that is MLS East versus MLS West, but each team has 4 to 5 like classic retired guys that are also playing in the exhibition or something like that. Like,
make it
Legends of the East, Legends versus of the West, and kind of put them in there.
That should be a thing regardless of the format of the other game. There should be a Legends game. Like we're 25, 26 years into this thing, whatever it is. We should do a Legends game. I mean, who doesn't want to see...
Precky's only got so many years left.
Who doesn't want to see Precky out there with that wand? Who doesn't want to see Zach Thornton in goal? Who doesn't want to see
Nick Romano? That's what I want to see in goal.
I mean, I know Taylor Twellman can't get out there, which is unfortunate. But how many of these great players would you like to see? Maybe
I just said I'd like to see Herc. You want to see Landon out there? You want to see? Look at D-Row in the 7v7s. You wouldn't want to see that on an open field, like be able to pass around that.
There you go.
I just think there's better ways to do it. And listen, every year everyone has these talking points. They want to talk about their ideas for what's better. But I just want to acknowledge that the skills competition, keep it around. If nothing else, keep the skills competition around. It's
if Jared DuBois was programming the MLS All-Star Skills Competition, what event would you add to the games that
improvisational celebration?
And judges. We get to be judges.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I think the first year they had judges for something. I think
synchronized diving.
Synchronized diving. Sure. Okay. All right.
Jimmy Bullard did a great thing on Soccer AM. Rest in peace, Soccer AM, which has now been canceled, unfortunately.
I thought for a second Jimmy Bullard was dead. I was like, what the hell?
Nah, okay. I hate that they canceled that show over there.
Yeah, they did. They did cancel that show.
He used to do a great bit, and it was recreating classic moments, like trying to do the shot, like the D-Rose shot, the penalty, like just doing it, see if you can recreate it. I think there's value in doing something like that, where you recreate a classic play for MLS history. Because like I said, we're at the point now, you were just saying this as well, like there's enough history now to actually embrace it a bit. You know, like hell, do a skills competition that has the old school 50-yard penalties.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Embrace your history a little bit. Get away from freaking clout chasing European teams and the baggage and the impersonators that come into the damn stadiums wearing that team's shirt. Get away from going towards them.
The thing. This is still MLS in the full-on marketing to other soccer fans who don't like us yet mode, right? That's what that is. It's let's get Arsenal here. All these Arsenal fans, all these gooners from America are going to start to pay attention to us a little bit because, they watched us play in the All-Star game or something. It's awareness.
I like this from
right?
Aaron. Aaron in the chat says, make it East versus West, but then there's a double header, and afterwards 2 visiting teams played.
Well,
like
sure.
Chelsea and Manchester United play or something like that.
But MLS can't say we're testing ourselves or whatever that narrative is.
You're never testing yourself.
I know.
You're putting a team of guys that never played together out there on the field. And even if Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal are playing 50% of their starters, that's still 50% of the people that have played together for years. It's never going to be a really good test. I don't know. All I know is that watching that team last night, Ricky Puig was the only person that looked like he was on the right level.
Be even more creative with this. Like go nuts with it. Go nuts with it. Like give us cancel the offside rules for this game. Just do it. Why not?
Let's not be crazy.
Let's just cancel the offside.
Just cherry picking.
30-yard penalties, as you said. Let's do that. I mean, no, I'm trying to come up with something to make it fun, right? Because to me, what that game is not fun. It's not.
And it should be, but it's not
a joyful event. It should be joy. The NBA All-Star game, as much as you might not watch it, the NBA All-Star game ends up being like 155 to 154 because nobody
plays.
One
note as well.
But sure, but at least there's things happening. At least you get to watch a guy drive and dunk and do something athletic in a way that's entertaining. Look, Arsenal entertained last night. Give them credit for it.
You know what would be freaking awesome? It'd be freaking awesome. If every 15 minutes, from 15 to 20, a goalie and a field player have to change positions for 5 minutes. And then again at the 30 to 35.
I say no offside, and then you give me that like it's different.
It's the Mike McGee tribute.
Sure.
A field player for 5 minutes, you got to pull the keeper, and the other guy switches shirts and goes in for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, do something, mix it up, do it different. Again, maybe bring the. I know, no visiting manager would ever agree to this. But maybe you do a half where it's MLS All-Stars versus Arsenal, but the second half you have 2 team captains and they get to pick from either team and put together their team for the second half. Just I want Gabriel Jesus. Yeah, he's on my team. And then
or do in the breakthrough when they're setting up the next skills competition thing the night before, you put all the defenders from both teams in a lottery and you pull who's going to be on each team.
Yeah,
and then
sure,
you do the
something like
midfielders at the next break. Then you do the forwards at the next break.
Something
and you
like
build a
that.
team out of both the teams, and they play together.
That's what
the
I'm
following
saying.
night.
Like, do something fun.
Just,
And
do,
again,
just really American it.
if the visiting, if you have to do the visiting club and the visiting manager doesn't want a full 90 minutes of chaos, yeah, give him a half. Give him a half. Give a half to all the Arsenal fans who showed up in their probably not Thierry Henry jerseys, because they probably weren't fans when Thierry Henry was an Arsenal player. So it's got to be somebody way more recent than
Another
that.
cool thing would be with like each of the teams. Let's say you do Arsenal versus MLS. MLS, the coach or the commissioner picks 2 legends, and Arsenal brings 2 legends.
Sure.
And they both have to play 15 to 20 minutes each, something like that. Something to spice it up,
Something
make it
like
feel
that.
different.
Absolutely. Let's
Make
get
it stupid.
Nicholas.
Let's make it stupid.
Nicholas Soup and Salad on the show. Nick, what you got here?
I don't have my drop. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
That's okay.
You want to try to recreate it, Jared, just real quick?
I'm starting to like Cincinnati.
There you go. Perfect.
So I'm not a fan of them playing a team from abroad or from Mexico. Like I don't care about the exhibition.
Mexico is abroad, just so you know.
You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I'm not a fan of that. Like, let's celebrate Major League Soccer's All-Stars. Why don't you have 2 captains who basically, out of all the All-Star selections, do a draft?
Yeah, that's the
you
NHL did that, right? Or does that? I don't even know.
I think
The
you would have to
NBA.
limit. They can only pull like 2 from their own team. I think that's not limited, because otherwise you're gonna pick all your homies. And
yeah,
your
No,
team.
no,
you're
what I'm
getting-
saying is
you're getting the
there's
details,
there are
but yeah.
there are all-stars who get voted, right? And
Yeah.
so from that pool, Messi next year, he's picking the other guy.
Messi's gonna have to be told who the other players are. Just
No,
so you know.
by next year he'll know. Come on.
He'll know
Right.
4.
No.
But
come
you know
on.
what I'm saying? Like, you have 2 guys
I'll take Kamada.
who draft their team. I'd rather see that than a 5-0 loss to.
Yeah, of course.
The only way I would do it is if they've televised the draft, so you know exactly who Messi picked last.
Sure.
Yeah, of course. They did
Last
it.
pick.
They did it for the NHL, as our friend Nicholas Murray said. The NHL did it for a few years.
Oh, they
I don't
did?
know what. I don't know what.
I didn't
the,
know
yeah,
that.
the
NBA 's
Do
NHL.
the
doing
old
it.
school pick 'em?
Yes. They did
NHL's more fun, man. They do the outdoor winter match. They do like old school schoolyard pick 'em. I mean, they got no one watching their league, but like they fight.
It's not true, but okay.
No one south of Dakotas are watching.
Sure. Nobody in Nashville, where they've had a pretty good team for a while. Nobody watches hockey in that city. Yeah. Yeah. I think we've come up with some incredible ideas for revamping the MLS.
Your move, Quartermash.
Let's figure this out, MLS people. I don't know why we went back to this after the 2 years with the Liga MX All-Stars, unless it's just about saturation, like too much. No, I get it.
Here's the thing.
Right?
What does Apple TV want?
Or who paid? I don't know who paid.
What is Apple? When I clicked on the All-Star game last night, I could choose from like 8 languages. Okay,
Sure.
Apple TV is trying to make sure they make the cast the broadest.
So you're
possible.
saying that Arsenal's international appeal is the selling point here? I got
Absolutely,
it. So,
absolutely.
yeah.
But I will say this though for Apple TV, this sucked last night. I started watching the All-Star game, right? And I had to go to. Well, I got to go to dinner. It's my anniversary, so I went to dinner with my wife. And in bonus, I'll tell you something about the later part of the evening. So we went to dinner. So I paused it, right? I'm probably like 15, 20 minutes into the game. I was probably 25 minutes into the game. Pause it. I'm going to pick that up when I get back. I get back, and it's still paused. But you know what's on the pause screen? The final score.
Yeah.
The final score is on the screen. All I did was hit pause and came back in an hour and a half, and the final score is on the screensaver while it's paused. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's brutal.
Gotta fix that for sure.
I should take a picture.
Yeah, I guess you should have. All right, so MLS All-Star game, it's done, it's over. Now it's Leagues Cup, and maybe should we? No, you're not excited for the.
What's a Leagues Cup?
It's a cup between leagues, Jared. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. One from the United States and Canada, one from Mexico. You know, it's going to be.
Oh, US and Canada are combined in this?
For the purposes of this, yes.
How come Mexico and Canada don't combine? How come we have to take Canada?
We chose to let them put teams in our league. That's where we're at right now. Leagues Cup kicking off tomorrow. As we record this, kicking off tomorrow. Lionel Messi could make his Inter Miami debut against Cruz Azul. They have announced a sellout for that game. I've also noted that there must be intense media interest, as you might expect. Hercules Gomez tweeted that he has been denied a credential for that game. Now, there's a couple things here. MLS and ESPN don't have a relationship anymore. You wonder if that some of that plays into it. No, sure.
Well, how many other ESPN guys got credentialed? That's a question.
That's a good question. I'm sure somebody did. I'll also point out
maybe every network got 2 or 3
international outlets connected to ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and various ESPNs around, especially South America.
He's in that pool there too.
It's also an erector set stadium. They probably have like 3 press seats. Like, how many press seats do they actually have? How much room do they have? They're jamming the place full with 19,000 fans. Like, it's not. This is not a real stadium in any.
I'm interested to know where the line is, though. Like, if Herc's on this side of the line, we should play a really mean game where I start saying people's names and you tell me which side of the line they're on. Even if it didn't apply.
I don't think that would be
Jason
a good
Davis.
idea. Considering my business, no, I don't want to be on the record with that. That's like not a. I wouldn't get a credential if I applied and I was down there. There's no chance I would get a credential.
Yeah, listen, I as someone who was credentialed during the Beckham years, I can tell you it was like, even when it came to MLS Cup, I had a credential all season long. When it came to MLS Cup, I mean, I was not in the press box. I was down in like.
Oh no, we were hanging out. We were hanging out with some dude who was
I got Vic the Brick, baby. I got Vic the Brick. And I've told this story many times. Yeah. LA sports legend. And Vic the Brick is like one of my idols, dude, like for sports in LA. And I got to sit next to him and explain soccer. Not explain, he had an idea, but really explain what was happening and who the players were for 90 minutes.
Yeah,
highlight of my life.
I was there.
You were right next to me though. You had a different spot.
No,
you were there, but you had a different spot. You had a different area. You weren't right next to me. You were up on the roof part.
I don't remember.
You were on the up on the roof area. They put an ancillary part on the roof. I was in the ancillary down in the stadium.
I see.
But yeah.
Okay. Which one was better then? Was I
me? Because I was next to Victor Brick, man.
That's right.
Dude's wearing a poncho in the middle of the competition. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, again, I think the size of the stadium. I mean, ESPN's not a partner of MLS. My radio outlet is a partner of MLS. I don't know how far that goes because it's not television. It's not quite as important. But like I said, I don't think I would be getting a credential for this game because I imagine that it's not just American outlets, right? It's a bunch of Argentinian press coming up.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Press from Spain. Press from around this is what we're talking about.
You literally have a game where Busquets, Alba, and Messi. Wait, are Busquets and Alba, are they both approved?
Alba is signed. I don't know if they've received his transfer certificate, so I don't know if that's done. I believe Busquets will be eligible to play. Again, I don't think either one of those guys, Messi or Busquets, is going to start. But this is what we were talking about, right? And this is what I was selling. And somebody even said it in the Bestie Slack, which you can get access to by joining us at patreon.com/thebestsoccershow. It's a good time. It's a good time. Somebody pointed out that when you talk about the Messi effect, if there are how many people on this planet? 7 billion people, something like that?
These days, sure.
Sure. Let's say an overpopulated planet of 7 billion people. This is the world's game. Is it a fair bet that 1 billion people follow soccer and maybe 1 billion people know who Lionel Messi is? Is that a fair bet?
I think it's higher.
You think it might be higher, right?
Oh, so absolutely. Even if half the planet knows who Messi is.
Even if you convert, or even if you get a 1% of that 1 billion people audience to sign up for an MLS thing or check out MLS or buy an MLS jersey, I mean, that's huge.
Inter Miami
right?
passed Inter Milan for Instagram followers this week.
That's nuts, right? I mean,
that's what we're talking about here.
It's entirely about Lionel Messi. Like, it's entirely about him.
Yeah, and who is it Miami playing in Superliga tomorrow?
They're playing Cruz Azul in that game.
Cruz Azul. Now, here's the thing. I have no idea how this works. Don't care. It's a distraction. I hate it. Don't want to do.
Yeah.
Is it home and home, or is there pools?
There are groups. Every game is in the United States. Voice from nowhere. Every game is in the United States. So there are only 3 teams in each group. So you play either the first and second match.
I just don't want to spend the calories figuring this out because it's going to be gone in 2 years, right? Like everything else. Why am I spending calories on this?
It could be. It could be gone in 2 years.
I mean, I get it. This is a good way to backdoor your way into a now oversaturated Club World Cup competition that is going to be – everything is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There's more slots for it now. There's more teams playing in it. So you can backdoor your way. Like, listen, my Galaxy may not make the playoffs, but they could be in the Club World Cup next season if they win this.
No, they could be in the Champions League, and if they win the Champions League, or they finish whatever place in the Champions League.
But now, what, the top 2 or 3 from the Champions League?
Something like that. Yeah, there will be more spots available to CONCACAF for the Club World Cup than before. Yeah, I mean, look. Go ahead.
No, I just feel like at one point do the players get a break? Like this calendar is starting to become so saturated with games and fixtures that players' safety at some point. How are players' unions not arguing for the amount of games that are having to be played?
They are. They're arguing about it. They're making
like they're winning.
They're making their concerns known. I think, we just had Bob Foose, the director of the MLSPA, make some comments about the numbers, the number of games, and how
chicken shit is it that MLS has to stop its season for a month?
Why is that chicken shit? I don't know what that.
What other league stops for a month to do something else?
Sure, okay, nobody does, but I think that's the point, right? That Major League Soccer, and in partnership with Liga MX, recognizing that they are boxed in because of geography, right? Unless they are given access to the Copa Libertadores, which there have been new rumors about that possibility, by the way. Because
more fixtures.
Because of MLS, because of Messi coming to MLS, there's suddenly interest to bring MLS teams into Copa Lib. By the way, if Messi's not on one of those teams, I don't know why they would care about that. But anyway, unless you get access to Copa Lib and Copa Sudamericana and all that, you are boxed in. It's CONCACAF and nothing else. And we know that MLS and Mexico are going to dominate. Mexico's dominated the Continental Championship. Maybe MLS will crack that door open a little bit more after the Sounders and whatever. But if you want to make money, if you want to matter, if you want to be bigger, if you want to compete on any level at all, even in the weakest sense with Europe or even with Saudi Arabia, you got to be doing new stuff. And they will tell you, Jared, I'm not saying that I agree with this, but they will tell you that this is about innovation and that you can't be locked into doing traditional things or doing the things the same way all the time if you want to actually stand out.
To go back to what we talked about before, remember when we innovated the penalty kick shootout? Not all innovations are great. I guess maybe take a swings. But here's the thing. Do the Superliga, that's fine. But why not just mix it into the season? And
because they want every team involved, because they want the whole point is to stop everything else so that fans of both leagues have to watch this. If you care about your team, you are locked in. Can I bring Nicholas Soup and Salad back into this?
So hostage soccer is what we're talking about.
Let me just bring Nicholas Soup and Salad back in. Okay. Nicholas, your team is number 1 in Major League Soccer. Is that correct?
You're damn right.
You're 8 points up on second place in the Supporters Shield race and in the Eastern Conference. That correct? Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. Okay.
You're also in the semifinal of the Open Cup. Is that correct?
You got it.
Are you excited for the League's Cup?
I could give a flying fuck.
No, here's why he should be excited. Here's why he's going to be excited. Because if I am Pat Noonan, I just got a month's rest from my starters.
Sure, maybe.
Why would he ever play his starters in this competition? He's almost assured a spot already in the Champions League.
You know why? Why? I'm not saying that Pat Noonan would do this of his own accord, but you know why? Because up there in New York, they're going to be on the phone, and they're going to be talking to people who own soccer clubs in Major League Soccer. And those people who own those soccer clubs are going to call the guys they paid to coach those soccer clubs, and they're going to say, hey, guy, I paid to coach my soccer club. Play the damn starters.
Hey, Castro wants Verender Vasquez to play.
I don't know. Look,
I don't think FCC is going to play a full strong squad this weekend against Sporting. I really don't.
Okay, all right.
They shouldn't. Why would they?
He's already hinted at giving guys a break.
They have it. They have it. So top 2 teams in the group will advance. So it does give you a buffer. The only thing about that is you only get 2 games, and for FC Cincinnati, and if they do want to progress, the other team in their group is Chivas. Chivas has won all 3 games in Liga MX in the Apertura so far. So, they're. And by the way, Liga MX is pausing their league too, Jared. They're in this. This is like a conspiracy.
They stop their season anyway. They take a break in 2 different seasons. So
that's not.
They already do some weird thing.
That's not the same.
Wait a second. Hold on. Remember how we always get screwed in the CONCACAF Champions League knockout rounds? Do we get the advantage in this because they're out of season, or are they in season right now too?
They just started their season. 3 weeks.
Sweet. So we actually get the advantage then. If
you want to say that, from an MLS perspective, if you're talking about trying to flip
I found one thing I like about this damn thing.
Okay. All right. By the way, who's in the Galaxy group, Jared?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't care. I'm pissed. My team has 1 loss in 8 games, finally getting some momentum, and they have to stop for a month. It's stupid.
All right, but it's also another trophy to go and win, and it's nominally.
It's not the trophy I want. Why would I want this weird one-off? Like, at least to talk to me again if it's still around in 5 years, because the track record of MLS, CONCACAF, and these competitions is not good. No. It's not good, man. Like, none of them are around anymore. All these different ones that started, none of them are around anymore. So why would I have any belief? It's just a new round of trying to get money out of fans, and I'm just not falling for it this time.
Okay, all right, fair.
Lucy can only pull the football out from me enough time, so many times.
That's fine. And you go back to '96, and your fandom is resolute. You're never gonna stop being an LA Galaxy fan. But from a league, from Major League Soccer's perspective, right? Everything. Now, I'm not saying I agree with this, right? I'm just talking about the mindset that is holding sway and why this is happening. You've got a World Cup coming in 2.5 years, which is going to be a big deal, right? And you want to maximize your return on that. You want to find a way to not just benefit from the aftermath of it, but actually get to a place where you're bigger than you were before, so when it happens, you can go springboard even higher, right?
Yeah.
And again, the whole concept here is to try to build Major League Soccer and Liga MX beyond what they are limited to being right now, right? And if they're
Liga MX is trying to get our clout, that's what it comes down to. They're trying to get our clout, because while they may be better and they may finish higher, do better than no one's. I mean, European teams, European interest is here, not in Mexico. The sponsorships are here, not in Mexico. Plenty of big Mexican money.
I don't know. Have you seen a Liga MX shirt? They're covered.
Yeah, they had to have 9 to make up for the money we haven't won.
I know. I understand what you're saying, right? But and again, that's why they see this as
they got toilet paper sponsors in the locker room.
It's why they see it as beneficial, because MLS can't do it on their own. They need to access a market that Liga MX has already maxed out, already found a way to tap into, already is getting millions upon millions of American viewers to watch their product. And Liga MX recognizes that the money is in America, so they need more access to America. So again, my argument isn't they should be doing this, and I don't think I would have chosen this way to do it. But they will tell you we have to be creative. Otherwise, we're just locked into doing the same thing over and over and over again and hoping things change rather than making our own way. Are you a traditionalist, Jared?
I just don't see how this is a game changer. I don't. I think both teams, both leagues might get a little bit better out of this. Neither one is going to compete with the top 5 leagues in Europe because of this.
But that's not the point. You have to take a step before you get. How do you get there if you don't choose to do something to try to take a step in that direction? You don't choose not to do something. I'm not saying this is it again, but you don't choose not to do something because this won't give me the immediate benefit of being competing with the top 5 leagues. You do this as a step in that direction if you believe that one day you'll find a way to be there. And by the way, I don't even know if that should be the metric necessarily for Major League Soccer. I don't know what we're talking about. Quality-wise, money-wise.
Does this count as a competition or an exhibition?
Until I see how teams respond, until we see how the champion is treated, until blah, 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 it's an exhibition.
Yeah,
I think that's fair to say.
Is this higher or lower than the U.S. Open Cup in terms of priority for MLS teams?
I think it'll be higher. I think it'll be higher for them.
Okay.
I think it should be higher. And that's not just to disrespect the U.S. Open
Cup.
Cup.
This first-year competition should be higher than the longest-running competition in America.
It's not, but what does that mean, the longest-running competition? Why does that
You're the one saying it's not any good.
No, look at you. Look at you. I love the Open Cup. I do. But the Open Cup is, I don't know. The Open Cup doesn't, if we're talking about what provides benefit to the clubs and to Major League Soccer, and maybe that should not be the thing that rules your decision-making, right? We want to be romantics about this game. We want to believe that the game on its own, just the way it's always been played, is enough. But you do have to recognize that if you choose that path, you are saying there's a ceiling, and I'm okay with never breaking through it. That's what you're saying, and if that's the way you want it, fine. But
I don't know. I guess the part of me is like I see the ceiling and I believe it actually exists.
You don't think it's possible to get through it. That's what you're saying. You're saying that doing things like this is bastardizing your game in the quest to break through.
I think there's other things that this league could do to further it besides this. For example, and like what? I'll say the magic words no one wants to say. Pro rel. If you which one advances this game in this country?
How does that advance? What does that do? Again, what does that do that this doesn't? I'm not
actually puts a level of competition and threat to the game for the people of the teams at the bottom. It's a meritocracy instead of just a boys club you can never get kicked out of.
But you're talking about what happens in terms of the competition of the league. You're not talking about the impact it has on the league's ability to compete internationally or for players or bringing money. Like that's what they're focused on here. So I'm asking you, how does that do those things?
I just talked about growing the sport in the U.S. That's what I was talking about. And I don't know the Leagues Cup grows the sport in the U.S.
How does
it puts money in Bob Kraft's pocket?
How does Pro Rel grow the sport in the United States?
What do you mean? That means that all these smaller markets have the ability to potentially get a piece of the messy Apple money next year.
So you're saying that if a team in
Birmingham Legion could end up being in MLS and playing against Messi in a year, and then all of a sudden that whole market in Alabama all of a sudden becomes hyped about soccer potentially.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that it's a long-term successful club that suddenly grows out. I mean, that doesn't change fundamentally. It doesn't change what Birmingham is as a soccer town. You think that fundamentally changes? I mean, one game against Messi, 2 games against Messi in a year.
But one competition in Leagues Cup doesn't change anything either. We just said you have to wait and watch, right? We just said the same thing about that.
Okay,
but I'm saying there are other levers to pull that I think are, maybe this is me being a traditionalist, like you said before. There are traditional things that you can do and levers you can pull that MLS hasn't pulled yet that are proven over time to work. Now, granted,
Pro Rel's proven to work in this country?
No. I said in fundamental in football in general. There are fundamental traditional football levers that could be pulled that haven't been. And I understand why it hasn't been. I probably never will be. And if that's the case, I'm a realist as well. I understand why that would never happen. But I'm saying we are shoehorning for the third or fourth time now this idea.
It's not the third or fourth time. It's the second time. When has this been done before? Superliga, what else?
Superliga, and then there was one other one before Superliga, and I can't remember what it was called now. There was one other one. I guarantee you there was one other one. I can't remember what it was called.
DC United won some Intertoto Cup or something against Vasco da Gama in 98. But I don't know if that counts as the same thing.
I'm trying to remember what it was.
And look, it's fair to say that they've done something similar to this. And the first editions of the Leagues Cup were similar to Superliga. That's fine. Again, I'm not saying that the unique nature of this thing, which is every team playing in it, World Cup format, all that stuff, I don't know that makes a difference, right? That's the league's bet. I have no idea if that makes a difference. And I don't even know that I'm going to enjoy this necessarily. As I've already said, my significant issue with this is that there aren't any games happening in Mexico.
I know I'm not going to enjoy it because I'm not watching it.
Okay, I know.
Unless the Galaxy, if the Galaxy make it to the next round, maybe I'll watch then. But I have no desire to watch my team get tired and potentially injured in something that is for no reason.
Okay, all right. If you are not going to give this tournament any value from the very beginning, then absolutely that's the correct attitude. Treating this like an exhibition. I don't want my guys.
I would say the burden is on them to prove to me it's a reason for me to watch. Well, the burden is not on me to watch.
For me, the major mark against this thing that makes it hard to treat it seriously as a legitimate competition that clubs want to win is that Major League Soccer and Liga MX's agreed to this because they know where the money is. All the games happening in the United States. And there will be...
I have no interest. I can name like 4 dudes in all of Liga MX.
Okay, but maybe that's the point. For you to learn more about Liga MX, just like as Mexican football fans learn more about Major League Soccer. That's the point. That's exactly why they're doing it.
But I don't want to. I barely can name enough players in this league. There's a lot to track these days, man.
You're not everybody.
30-some teams.
You're not even the target demo. You're like 15 years too old for the target demo at this point.
I got money to spend.
They're not. That's true, but they're not aiming at you, and they're aiming at somebody else. And again, I'm not saying that
put my fedora on.
That doesn't just. It's like we always talk about. Like, why does the new customer get the better cell phone plan deal than the existing customer? Why is that? Why are you treating the new customer more important?
It's just like drugs. First one's free.
Sure, that too. That too. All right. Do you want to talk Women's World Cup a little bit? I know, unfortunately,
I'm going to a viewing party tomorrow.
We are, timing-wise, ahead of the U.S. game, which is at 9 p.m. against Vietnam. You're going to a viewing party, Jared?
Yeah, we're having a happy hour over at my friend's house because it's 5 o'clock our time to kick off. So wait, 5 or 6? 6. I believe it's 6. I think broadcast 5 to kick off 6. So yeah, I have a friend that's inviting a bunch of people over, and we have some drinks, watch the game. Kids will play in the pool. So yeah, I have a number of friends who are avid women's soccer fans. So my wife's actually on a girls' weekend out in Palm Springs, and I'm pretty sure 2 or 3 of the girls out there, LAFC, sorry, not LAFC, Angel City FC, seeing some ticket holders, and they'll be watching it out there too. So
all right, so really they're getting together in California. Like I said, I'm in Puerto Rico. Got to figure out what I'm doing for that game. I don't think that we think of that match as like the real beginning of the U.S. Women's National Team title defense, right? It's going to be.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Now that being said, I don't think I want it to be 15-0 or something like that. I don't think it will be. I think Vietnam will put up a little bit more of a defense than that. But I'm just asking, like, what would be acceptable to you for this game? Where's your level of expectation?
First of all, there is a part of me that's wondering with games against the Netherlands and Portugal.
Yes.
Yeah. With games against Netherlands and Portugal, how much are you looking past Vietnam, and are you playing your best 11 going into this game?
Well, you can go back to 2019 and look at how they handled Thailand, because I believe that was the first game of the group.
Yeah, and they racked up, 14 or something like that?
I think it's 12, 13, 14. The numbers get hazy at that point. And there was a whole debate over whether they should celebrate goals after a certain number.
Absolutely.
Which, yes, 100%, always celebrate goals.
But
never stop
unlike that, I don't think that group had people like the Netherlands. The Netherlands is a serious contender in this group, and that's the next game after this. So
I think they've taken a step back, but I'm not saying they're not good enough to be a challenge. They're just not as good as they were.
I think a good result here is somewhere in the 3-4-0 range. I think that's a good result here. I think
would be more concerned about giving up a goal than the number we
little bit, especially with Becky Sauerbrunn being out and seeing how they're going to adjust. My money's on Julie Ertz being a starter in that back line, assuming that she's healthy enough to do it. I think that's the play there, and it'd be interesting to see how Vlatko lines up this team. There's a number of different positions around the field that are question marks about who the starter's going to be. And I don't know from game one if we'll be able to tell a lot of that, because he may be keeping a couple of cards close to his vest. He may keep a couple starters in the positions that he sees them for Netherlands out.
Let me ask you about that then. I mean, Vlatko is, he's something of a tinkerer. Like, he doesn't necessarily stay pat. He likes to mess around a bit. And part of that, I think, comes with a job, because this is a talented and deep player pool, because there's been a generational shift for this team over the last couple of years, and because you've lost players to injury, right? When you don't have certain players, you have to make tough choices about positions. I mean, the fact that Julie Ertz was missing for 2.5 years or whatever that was meant that Vlatko was constantly trying to plug a player in, or maybe two, to figure out how to cover for Julie Ertz. So I kind of get that. But do you think there would be value in picking your best lineup to play against Vietnam, get them some time together in a match that shouldn't stress them too much, so they can roll into the game against the Dutch and the game against the Portuguese and feel confident as a group?
Yeah, I think unlike the last World Cup, where you had so many stalwarts locked in at positions, and you knew, I don't know if there was a mystery anywhere in that starting 11. Maybe it's like, how do you get Rose Lavelle in this lineup? I think that was maybe where the question. Yeah. But like that's locked in chalk compared to where we're at this year. So I think you're right in that there is a team building aspect, a cohesion aspect. Why not try to get a good chemistry going and some momentum going against what should be your easiest competition in the group? Maybe ride some of that tide into the game against the Netherlands. So I think there is there. And also, most of these girls have not had to play significant minutes in the last 2 weeks. They should be able to put 3 games together in 10 days and play all those 90 minutes. And let's be honest, someone's going to get 2 yellow cards and is going to get rested a game somewhere in here anyway. So I think that you potentially could see the full starting lineup, assuming health is right for everyone.
But as you said, we kind of don't know what that is. Like, we kind of don't know what that is.
Honestly, I don't know if Vlatko knows what his best 11 is. I think he has an idea, but I think he's going to learn as this competition goes on as well. And every World Cup has a bit of that, where you see some guys are up for it. or some ladies are up for it. You know, that they're rising up to the level of the competition and to the into the tournament. So we'll see. Some players just have those tournaments. I mean, look back at James Rodriguez. Going into that tournament, that wasn't a name. You know, some people just make their name at the tournament, and the U.S. could have one of those.
I'll point out a couple of things about this group, right? Because again, ideally you want to pick your best 11, give them time together, give them a chance to play a match against Vietnam that they should win and score some goals and gain some confidence. Julie Ertz didn't play the send-off match against Wales, although Vlatko said that if that was a World Cup game, she would have played. Keep that in mind.
Yep.
Rose Lavelle hasn't played since mid-April and is medically cleared to play. But that may be a do we push her into the lineup now or do we wait a little bit?
Yep.
I do think you mentioned your belief that Julie Ertz will start at center back or could start at center back. I don't know that that's the prevailing view. I think Cook
if she's
and
healthy,
Germa,
you don't think he's going to find a spot on the field for her? You think he's going to be in midfield?
I think she'll be in midfield if she's healthy. I think that she's going to go back to
That is a very pragmatic move against Vietnam, I think. You don't need her in midfield for Vietnam. I think maybe you experiment at the center back position for that game.
That's it. Well, but that's what we just said. Do you play your best? Because if you're playing your best 11, is Julie Ertz a center back?
So you're saying Alana
11?
Cook is the better center back right now than Julie Ertz?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the question is, do you lose more with Julie Ertz at center back and not defensive midfield than you lose by playing her, or playing Cook?
That's tough because this isn't 2019 Julie Ertz. It's not. I mean, granted, she may have flashes of that player. She's 2 years not playing. She got injured with Angel City. She's been in and out of the lineup there. She's not consistent. She may be able to be her, but I don't know that the confidence is there that she can be that midfield dominator. Now, where I feel she still can dominate set pieces. Number one reason you got to have her on the field is for set pieces. That doesn't go away. She still knows how to find the box, find the ball in the box. What I do like, though, is that if you do go with Alana Cook, and I love this when I'm not sure if you were watching some of the content there out there, but they had them reading letters from their family and stuff like that. And I love that her family was like, go out there and show them that there's still a place in football for the hard-nosed tackler that just wants to make the game hard. I was like, hell yeah. You're like, I do want someone like that that's going to do that,
Yeah.
But there's just a leadership component there. If Roosevelt can't go, I think you can make the case that Julie Ertz falls into the midfield. Not that they're equal players; they do the same thing. There's just an extra spot in the midfield if she can't be there, and you want some leadership further upfield.
Okay, I'm looking at a projected lineup that's got Haran, who's been named co-captain with Alex Morgan. You would imagine she starts. Ertz and Ashley Sanchez in the midfield. So again, I don't know. There's a wealth of options up top. Even with the missing Mallory Swanson situation and Katarina Macario, who never really got embedded with this team before she got injured, which is unfortunate. Yeah. But I think a lot of people are expecting big things for Sophia Smith and for Trinity Rodman. Obviously, you have
there's so many forwards on this team, dude.
Yeah, I know.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And this is not meant as disrespect.
And Christy Lewis can play forward.
Sure, this is not meant. Julie Ertz can play forward if you need her to.
Yeah,
she can go win something.
She has. Yeah.
She has. This is not meant to disrespect, but you almost kind of, it's not sacrificial, but she's there as more of a leader than anything. I do think she'll play some minutes.
Ertz?
But Megan Rapinoe. You brought Megan Rapinoe, yeah. and you still have so many options at forward.
She's the Frankie Hayduck of the women's national team. She's way better than Frankie Hayduck. But there's vibe. We talk about Vibe Squad, right? Rapinoe's vibes. And also for 20 minutes, hell yeah.
For 20 minutes, absolutely. She will put a ball on someone's head if he needs.
If I'm starting, my starting three up front would be Alex Morgan, Trinity Rodman, Alyssa Thompson. I think those are the three.
You're not starting the reigning MVP of the NWSL in that starting lineup?
Sophia Smith?
Yes. You're not starting?
For me, it's Vietnam. So I don't know you need to play all your. If you're going to find a place to see if Alyssa Thompson's real.
Yeah, but I don't know that you start her. You can give her 25 minutes. You can give her half an hour. You can have her come on for Trinity Rodman and see what she could do, especially since it should be 3-4-0 at that point. Again, I know that we're being a little bit dismissive of Vietnam, and I'm kind of wary of that, but I don't expect it. I mean, we have seen an upset. New Zealand beat Norway. They weren't supposed to, but that was obviously Home team, yeah. And after everything that happened in New Zealand, pretty interesting, pretty rough stuff for that situation. So I don't know.
So your back four then would be Alana Cook, Emily Fox, Crystal Dunn, and Kelly O'Hara.
No, you didn't say Naomi Girma, did you?
No,
so
I did not.
The center backs would be Girma and Cook, and the full backs would be Fox and Dunn.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's what Vlatko's going to do. Who did you say?
I said Emily Fox because she had played some minutes with Sauerbrunn and
you said
back.
Fox at center back rather than at full back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did. I apologize. I'm looking at the wrong picture on my screen right now. I apologize.
Yeah,
Alana
Fox would be. Yeah, Alana Cook would be your center back, and Emily Fox would be on the right, or on the right with Crystal Dunn on the left. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that you're looking at that and going, oh my gosh, it's so kind of wonky, and at least not yet, right? And maybe you do need some time together for them to be sure. I do think that having Alana Cook and Naomi Girma starting as your center backs in a World Cup is a little bit, oh, okay. Like, we're throwing them into the deep end here. Like, you better get it together. You better figure it out pretty quick, especially if, when you get to the knockout phases and you're playing some of the top teams. I mean, I looked at predictions, Jared. The Athletic had, like, all these experts, some people I know, some Americans, Meg Linehan, Steph Young, Jeff Ruder. All the European writers were picking Germany. One picked England, which I don't think is going to happen with their injury situation, but they're obviously a contender. And then all of the American writers took the United States. And I was like, oh, okay. That's just how that works, I guess.
I don't know, man. I feel like there could be something sneaky right here when neither of those two take it. I mean, America's not looking its best. England being injured. I think France or Netherlands can make it.
But Germany's the pick. If it's not those two, I think it's Germany. England or the U.S. is Germany.
I don't know. I like I said, something about France and the Netherlands. I know Netherlands is a little bit behind it from where they were 4 years ago, but.
Well, they don't have Miedema, which is a big loss for them. With Miedema out, that's again, there are so many. This is the ACL situation that has like ravaged women's soccer. A lot of players missing. I'd say the last thing there was one more note. Oh, I was going to ask you a question. Would you be okay if the United States doesn't win it, right? And obviously we want the U.S. to win it, and I'm not suggesting a final loss, but would you be okay with Canada winning this World Cup? Would you be happy for Canada if they won this World Cup?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I'd be happy for Canada. I mean, they need some kind of relief with their men's team doing so poorly. Well, not poorly, but actually their federation needs. That's what I'm saying.
The federation's the problem. Yeah,
what I don't like is that it means a windfall of cash for the federation, and that's not a good thing. I don't think for the people who
you don't want them
it.
to have money. That's what
I was bummed to see Norway's result though, because I was really hoping that Ada Hegerberg would finally, now that she's back with the national team and she's missed 2 World Cups, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I was really hoping, but at 28 years old, maybe the team's not what it was a few years ago. I really wanted her to have a good deep run. And listen, maybe they still will, but a bit of a bump coming out of the gate for them. But I was really, really stoked to see her play, hopefully, a really deep run at this tournament.
She had a couple of chances based on the highlights that I saw. I didn't get up in the middle of the night to watch that game, but you're right. She's one of the best. She was one of the best players in the world. I think she's still probably in that conversation, and to see her kind of struggle when she got back.
I still don't know what's changed at Norway that she's now okay with playing for them.
They came to an agreement. There's an equal pay similar to what the U.S. has.
Okay.
With their women's team, there's something has changed in that regard. Yeah, I mean, obviously what's troubling about the World Cup, the Women's World Cup, is there are too many of those stories of the players fighting against the federation, not getting paid, Jamaica having to start a GoFundMe and all this stuff. Like we need to do better. We need better than that. We need better than that.
Yeah, I mean, look at the men's side. Canada's in the same situation. I mean, it's not just the women's side,
Yep. So
I don't know, but I'm excited for tomorrow night. We'll see what happens. We expect a win. I expect an easy win against Vietnam. Mm-hmm. But that being said, if there's a trap game, this is it. And hopefully they can get off on the right foot. We'll see.
All right, I want to come to some U.S. men's national team topics. I know we don't have any games to talk about for a little while. It's September with the friendlies.
Then we got some big ones.
Uzbekistan. We're going to play Uzbekistan,
and Oman?
Jared. Something like that. And then October, the good ones, which is Germany, Ghana.
Yeah.
Is that right? Do I have that right?
Yeah, I do Germany for sure, yeah.
Yeah. So we don't have games right now. Obviously, Christian Pulisic.
It's a hard K. Pulisic.
I don't think so. I think it's a ch sound now. I think he went back to the ch sound. Pulisic.
He's going full ch.
Scored in a friendly today. No, sorry, scored.
Two
Assisted. Two assists. Sorry, it was 7-0 last time I saw.
I believe both to Paul Pogba.
No, I don't think that's right.
No,
I don't think that's right.
Okay.
Paul Pogba does not play for AC Milan.
No, I think it was Pogba. I could have sworn they said Pogba. Is his brother?
No.
I could have sworn
he's got like 3 brothers, but I don't think any of them play for AC Milan.
I could have sworn they said Pogba in the
misinformation. It could be a Pogba, but it's not that Pogba or anybody related to that Pogba.
Hold on.
You should have seen Nick's face. Anyway,
sorry, he's a Juventus, I know, but
he had 2. Well, from the moment he is.
Yeah. It's Pobega. Sorry, Pobega.
Oh, so it's such an easy to make.
Listen. I honestly was just reading real quick, and I saw Pogba. I apologize.
Yeah,
Pobega.
But he had 2 assists. That was a 4th division side in Italy. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a warm up game. Whatever. They're coming stateside. They're going to play in front of 100,000 people against Real Madrid at the Rose Bowl. Jared, you going to go? You going to be able to get over that one? No? Okay. They're going to play at Dignity
You know
Health
my
Sports
feeling
Park.
about exhibitions. I'm the guy that sold my Galaxy tickets against Galaxy at the Rose Bowl multiple years because I could pay for my whole season ticket package.
Okay. All right. They're also playing at your team's stadium against Juventus. So that could be a Pulisic versus Weah, which would be interesting. So we've got Pulisic sorted. We've got Weah sorted.
It could be Musa as well.
Musa could
I'm not sure
be.
I'm not sure they can get that and get him traveled over there in time. We'll see.
Oh, for that game? Well, they still
the second one. I'm not at the first one, but
they have to work out the fee with Valencia. They haven't figured that out yet. When you see the reports that he's agreed to personal terms, that means a jackload of crap until
someone
Valencia
wrote something on a napkin. The other person said, "Okay, well, let's start there."
Yeah, until Valencia says yes, that's a price we will accept for our 20-year-old American international. We don't know about Balogun, who did play in the All-Star game last night. That's still to be sorted. Austin Trusty also got a chance to play for Arsenal, which, by the way, he probably won't be an Arsenal player this year. I don't think that's going to happen. But he got to play for Arsenal even if you hate on exhibitions, that's got to be cool for Austin Trusty to be wearing.
Absolutely. In the
Arsenal
U.S.,
shirt.
As a former MLS player, I think it's a cool moment for him. Scored I don't know if you noticed, you didn't watch the whole skills competition. Hit the crossbar that won the whole thing for Arsenal.
I did hear that. Yeah.
It's funny because his first ones were like sprinkler system, like not even on goal. They're off to the side of it and stuff. And then he finally hit the good one that won it for him.
So we've got that. I think McKinney's still in limbo. I've heard Atalanta might take him on loan.
Juventus is now saying that they're letting him travel and he has a place in the team.
Things change so quickly. All right. Tyler Adams, they're talking him up to stay with Leeds and bring them back up.
I can't see why that would
I hate it. I hate it. I don't like it. I don't want it. They have ownership, the American ownership now. So there's something going on there. Brendan Aronson's already out on loan. Serginho Dest says he wants to try to make it at Barcelona. We've heard that one.
It sounds like Xavi's going to give him a chance too, though.
All right, we'll see.
Once again, he's traveling with the trip for Barcelona.
Serginho needs to stop eating the baguettes. Okay, just no more baguettes.
I think it's more about he just needs to realize that he can't buy his own hype. He needs to put his head down and do the work. I think he realizes he needs to do both sides of the ball, and I think Xavi has said that he'll give him a chance. So we'll see. Julian Araujo's the one they just loaned out of the two.
So there's some things happening in that world. There's also this story. So Luciano Acosta wants to become an American citizen. I don't think he is yet, right? He's not an American citizen.
He's supposedly close.
He spent a year in Mexico, which usually messes up the timeline and makes it a lot harder. I guess there's something to be said for the pandemic. On its own is a cool thing. Great for Lucho Acosta.
Yeah, but I heard he cut himself and Red, White, and Blue came out, so he's good. The year doesn't matter.
He also wants to play for the U.S. men's national team. And look, he's been very, very good in MLS. He's also, 28, 29 years old, somewhere in that neighborhood, right? He was at the All-Star game, got asked about this whole situation. He said, I'd love to. I think there was some miscommunication via Twitter. Michele Giannone reporting that he hadn't talked to Berhalter, but somehow that got twisted into he had talked to Berhalter, right?
Berhalter's job. He should be talking to him.
Whatever happened, this immediately got spun into this story. And somebody explained this to me, right? I don't know. Did I miss a report that Berhalter said something, or there was some reporter found out that Berhalter was considering Lucho Acosta for the U.S. men's national team? Because across Twitter, I'm seeing these people gin up this conspiracy theory about how Greg Berhalter is going to drop Giovanni Reyna so that he can include Lucio Acosta in the Copa America team next year or something.
These are the same people that believe that Hillary Clinton was running a child pedophile ring out of a big pizza basement.
The same people? Are you sure they're the same people? I'm not sure.
It's the same class of people. I mean, the same type of people.
Wow, that seems very judgmental on your part, Jared.
Listen, there's a lot of dumb people in this world that will believe anything. Listen, first of all, Berhalter should be talking to Lucio Acosta. Because any guy that can potentially be anywhere in the pool that has his creativity should be. Now, should he be talking to him about in place of Gio Reyna? No. But Gio Reyna could be hurt tomorrow for all we know. Dude's made of glass. So is he at the Georgi Mihalovic level? Yeah. Lucio Acosta and Georgi Mihalovic should be fighting for the same position, which is that B squad creative midfielder. And now, if something was to happen to Gio Reyna, and probably also have to happen to Musa and De La Torre,
by the way,
or even Christian Pulisic,
something kind of did happen to Gio Reyna. Got hurt in the Nations League and hasn't played for Dortmund during the whole preseason. I'm hoping the guy gets back to being healthy. I don't need the.
Berhalter's job is literally to turn over every rock and find every single person that could contribute to this national team.
But Jared, I don't think that the people want him turning over MLS rocks. I think they want him to avoid those MLS rocks. Those are stinky rocks. No more MLS rocks. I think that's the whole thing.
I would like one of them to next week call in the number and tell me a American playing overseas that is better than Luciano Acosta at that position.
Okay. I mean,
other than Gio Reyna.
Other than Gio Reyna.
Brendan Aronson? No. Brendan Aronson is a completely different type of player. I don't. Georgi Mihalovic is literally the only person I think that comes close to the same style of play, that slot passer. And I think Lucio Acosta is better with the ball at his feet in terms of carrying than Georgi Mihalovic is.
He's a better goal scorer than Georgi is, I think, in a general sense.
But listen, there's a place for him for depth. He's a depth position player for us. And I think there's nothing wrong with saying that.
Yeah, and to that point about turning over every rock, I threw a name out in the besties Slack. Okay, here actually that's a good one. Malik Tillman. Jared, go ahead. Consider that one. Malik Tillman. Because I did see his name come up. Like, Berhalter's definitely going to take Acosta over Tillman for, and that would be some kind of crime or something.
No, I would think that they are all in that same tier, him, Georgie, and Tillman. I think Tillman would probably be ahead of both of them. Actually, he is ahead of them. But I will say about Tillman is that when Berhalter has played him, he's played him both in midfield and forward. So I don't know how Berhalter sees Malik Tillman.
I'm not sure I think of Malik Tillman as
a winger.
I think he's definitely not a winger, but I'm not even sure. I think I tend to think of him as more as he's a high usage midfielder for sure. But is he necessarily the guy that you want to have the ball at his feet when you're making runs and trying to get in behind?
No, but the way Gio Reyna played the position for the Nations League under BJ Callahan, another one. I think that Malik Tillman slots very well into that. I think in the MMA style midfield, I don't see how Malik Tillman fits easily into that MMA style.
Well, Reyna doesn't fit into that midfield
exactly.
either.
But if the future is BJ Callahan's version of MMR, MMR. Sorry, from Dota 2. That's a word. Let's see. MMR.
What is Dota 2? I don't even know.
See,
what that...
this is. I hate you so much sometimes.
Dota. Sounds weird to say.
Defense of the
Dota.
Ancients. All right.
Defense of the Ancients?
I think that Tillman probably slots easiest into that Reyna style position. And then I would put Georgie and Lucio Acosta behind that. Okay.
I mean, again, like you said, if there is an opening and you need that player, if you're 3 deep at that position, I don't know, you call Luciano Acosta for January camp and you see how he looks and you give him a chance to get a taste of it because he really wants to play and he's a very good player. But I don't think this is like, we have to get him into this team somehow because, I don't know, he's been good for Cincinnati. It has to work within the structure of the team too.
But sometimes when it comes to depth, though, you just want talent sometimes.
Sure. I mean,
and you can't deny he has talent.
Players off the bench. No, absolutely. Absolutely not. I'm not going to deny that he has talent. And by the way, this is an interesting, you already put it up on the screen. It's an interesting point about Christian Pulisic. Supposedly, he played on the wing today because Leao did not play in that game.
Leao did not play, yeah.
So he played in his normal spot for AC Milan in a game against a team they were going to whack no matter what. But if Christian Pulisic slides inside and is asked by Pioli to play as a 10, then does that have any bearing on his national team position for you, Jared? I don't think it does for me. We've seen it.
No. I mean, if Tim Weah can play right back and play forward for us, there's no worry about Christian Pulisic.
Exactly.
The main thing for Pulisic, is he getting minutes? Is he getting touches? And is he producing at the AC Milan level? If the answer is yes, play him anywhere. I don't care. You know, like, I don't think his future for the national team is at the. But if you do move to that MMR style midfield where Reina is in that position, Pulisic, if he can show he can play that for AC Milan, there's no reason why you couldn't build around him in that position there. And that then opens up a spot for someone else over there on the left-hand side, be it Brendan Aronson or someone else. I'm not sure.
I suppose. I mean, and you know, there may be
even
some players coming along.
even like a Tyler Booth can get a run at
Taylor
Booth.
Taylor Booth.
I said it both ways. I apologize.
Taylor.
Tyler Adams, Taylor Booth.
Okay. We don't need to drag this thing out necessarily. I'll throw one more thing at you though, because he was such a topic of conversation during the Gold Cup, Pirate of the Caribbean, and all that stuff. Jesus Ferreira at the All-Star game
looked
for the
horrible.
MLS team. You know, coming off of the Gold Cup period.
The skills competition, he couldn't lift the ball 20 feet. Like, all they had to do was scoop the ball to the guy doing the volley and placement challenge or whatever. The dude, I think, of the 5 balls, got 1 there.
Okay, what does that mean?
I mean, I was shocked.
Okay. The skills don't translate to the skills challenge, or you think
I don't know,
player?
man.
Or what'd you say,
What's that, Nick?
I'm with Jared, man. I watched that and I was like, what is happening right now?
His finishing drill didn't look good.
Bed?
Like, even during the game, he didn't look good. Like, listen, I know the dude's been scoring some goals
maybe
here
he's
and there
mentally
like that.
checked out, but maybe he's mentally checked out. Man, as you said, why would you?
Maybe he's just okay.
I don't think that you can judge on the All-Star game, and maybe
No,
he is just
in
okay.
general, look, the fact that he only scores against lower teams and stuff like that.
I mean, I forget.
He needs to go to Europe and do it in Europe and show he can do it against different competition.
Okay, let's bring it back then. Forget the whole national team conversation for the moment, although this could obviously dovetail with that when we get to it. He's got 10 goals in Major League Soccer this year, right? He scored double digits, 18 goals last year, right?
Yep.
He's put together good seasons. I am not saying that he is that he's the Hani Mukhtar. I'm not saying that he's Denis Bouanga. I'm not putting him on that level. But he's been a very good player. He's 22 years old.
Yep.
When asked about going to Europe, he gave the diplomatic response. I want to win something for FC Dallas. That's my goal right now. That's what I'm focused on. But of course, everybody dreams of going to Europe. And if that opportunity comes, I would love for it to come. And I don't know. Like, Dallas has sold players before. You would think that if somebody came in and said, here's $8.5 million for Jesus Ferreira, they would be willing to look at that. I know they sold Pepe for 20, but that was way over value for Ricardo Pepe at the time for Augsburg. If somebody comes in for Jesus Ferreira at
12,
8 to 10 or $12 million, he should go, right? They should sell him.
Sure.
He should go.
And Dallas has a track record of doing that.
Where should he go? Obviously we don't know who would be interested, but what's the level for Jesus Ferreira to go to Europe? His entry point.
I think a good move for him. Yeah. A good move for him would be, I think that his style plays well to Spain, and I think his style plays well to Italy.
Those are interesting ones. I don't know that there are a lot of clubs that are willing to throw down that kind of cash.
I don't either, and that's the problem. I think a league he would actually go to is Germany, and I don't know that his game translates as well to the German game.
Okay. I mean, I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm at the point now with Ferreira where I'm not arguing for him to be part of the national team picture, right? I don't think that he's pushing the guys that are right now higher up on the depth chart. No. Nothing that happened in the Gold Cup changes my mind about that. I do think he's a pretty good player, and I do think that if he got the opportunity to play at a higher level, that if he was in a more rigorous training environment, that he could become a better player. And who knows what that would mean for his national team future. But put that to the side. Because of all of the abuse the guy took for doing nothing but scoring the goals he was supposed to score, I want to see him go to Europe and get an opportunity. I'm not going to be one of those people who says, oh, he'll fail, he'll be terrible because he's trash, or he'll succeed, because I don't know. I have no idea what Jesus Ferreira's level is.
He could also be this generation's Chris Wondolowski. Maybe he just does well in MLS and never goes.
Could be that.
I mean, he's on the track to probably surpass Wondolowski if he keeps these numbers up for 12 years. You know?
He could do that. I don't think he wants to, and I think that the era has passed. This is interesting. Ferreira's salary going to be a problem. He's making more money here than he's going to get in like Holland. He'll have to take a pay cut. First of all, Holland has a legit hard cap on foreign players and how much they can make. So absolutely, he would make way less money in Holland than he would in Major League Soccer. I don't know that's necessarily true in some other leagues, although in Italy there is a limit on non-European players that they can have on their rosters. So that's an issue. I mean,
some of that got loosened up a little bit, especially the EFL side. I know, like,
that's work permit stuff that doesn't have anything to do with Italy. So if we're talking about, Ferreira going to a championship club is a recipe for disaster in my mind.
Wait, it's not for Sargent, but it is for him.
I think Sargent is more useful in other ways than Ferreira is. So
you're saying the physicality of the championship is not conducive to him versus pretty much
Sargent's what I'm saying.
Got a bigger body.
It's part of that. It's partly that. I mean, do you know a lot of 5'8" forwards who scored a lot of goals in the championship? Because I don't.
No, not really. No.
All right. Any other business, Mr. DuBois?
I don't think so, man. Just make sure you go out and check us out on the Patreon. Also the Teespring merchandise is available there. You can get any kind of our new looks and support the show. If you don't want to do Patreon or something like that, but you just want to support the show, grab a shirt. Out there. You go into some of these exhibition matches or these leagues cups, and why not show off for your boys out there?
Yeah, and look, if you're not already subscribed on the YouTube channel, do that too, because I think we're really close to 2K. I'd like to get to 2K very soon.
I think we're 50 people away.
50 people. Grab their phones from them. Go over to the Best Soccer Show channel.
Do what I used to do and go to the iPhone store and just on every phone put the show on it. So when they first open it up, the show's on all the phones out there.
Do that. That's amazing. That's
guerrilla marketing, baby.
Guerrilla marketing. That's exactly what that is. That's that LA in you coming out. Sure. All right. So patreon.com/The Best Soccer Show. Join the Bestie Slack, which is always fun. What else? Is that it? Nicholas Soup and Salad. You got anything else?
Every dollar you donate, it allows Jason to get some color in that room.
Are you dissing my in-laws' house right now?
I'm just saying it looks like you're in a psych ward.
It's just the walls are actually blue. You just can't see it on
blue?
the camera.
Oh, okay.
It's a light blue. It's like a sky blue.
Pleasant. How pleasant.
There's also vaulted ceilings. Everything's made of concrete because it's Puerto Rico, man. What do you want from me? I didn't build the house.
Right. You threw it to Nicky. What you got, Nicky? Anything?
I'm good.
No, he's saying he's out. He's gonna be done.
All right then.
All right, go subscribe. We'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
J. Rodius.